Hello, everyone. Welcome to this short webinar on creating financial analytics dashboard in Microsoft Power BI. Today, we will be creating one financial analytics dashboards, and also we will analyze one case study, which is beneficial and targeted for the accounting and finance professionals as well as auditors. So first of all, thank you so much for providing me an opportunity to have a speak on this subject matter topic from the Institute of Financial Accountants platform. All right, so first let's discuss about today's agenda. The first point is that we will be creating one financial analytics dashboard in Power BI. We will understand how this application interface can be used by the accountants or finance professionals. Then we will proceed towards that. As a finance professional, either we need to learn the data modeling and is it beneficial for the accounting and finance professionals before we create some colorful dashboards on the canvas. And if you are very new to the Power BI journey, then how you can start. And I will also share some learning resources regarding Power BI as well. So if you are very new, if you are novice, you will find this webinar very useful. And the presentation and the files will be shared with you after the webinar, so don't worry about it. The learning outcomes from the today's webinar will be that you will be exploring some key features of the Power BI. I will also discuss one case study regarding the data modeling of financial data sets, because every organization has different ERP software. Some organizations use Oracle 11G or R12. Some organizations are using SAP, and some other organizations are using their own customized softwares built by the IT department. So we will discuss that either that the data modeling is important or not. And then we will also discover that what are best fit visualizations for the financial dashboards. We will explore the app source as well, that what is the marketplace offers us as a user of financial background, so that we can create some good dashboards and we can do some good analytics as well. Okay. And I will also share some of the learning resources. So as Abdul Shakur has already given a brief introduction about me, so this picture is related to when I went to the Dubai just before COVID. So I was lucky to attend the Microsoft Ignite tour, where I have explored the key speakers. They were speaking about the Microsoft Power Platform, and Microsoft Power BI is one of the tool in this ecosystem. So you have three other tools as well: Microsoft Power Apps, Microsoft Power Automate, virtual agents, and then Power BI. So these four different applications create a whole entire ecosystem in the organization to communicate and to make the processes automate and bring meaningful another picture where I introduced for the very first time Pakistan Excel conference, where we bring all the professionals together. So our platform Excel basement try to deliver some good and best trainings regarding the Microsoft Office and Power Platform. And also we do consultancy and solutions, not just only in Pakistan, but now as an international as well. So let's understand, if you are very new to the Power BI, so what the entire application is built of. So let's have this session interactive. I want you to participate in the chat window. So if you have any question, you can write there as well. And I hope the chat window is visible to all the attendees as well, right? So how many of you use Power Query and Power Pivot in Microsoft Excel? If you use that, kindly write yes in the chat window so that we can have a quick poll. Uh, so currently we have around 82 participants. So me, Abdul Shakur excluding, we have 80 participants. That's very good attendance today. So how many of you are using Power Query and Power Pivot in Microsoft Excel? So if you are using, write yes. If you are not using, write no in the chat window so that we can have a understanding that how we can do the session. Okay, so we are getting the responses no. All right, so no, not to worry. That's an honest answer from your side. Some of you are using Power Query and Power Pivot. So those of you who are not using, I would recommend that start using it, because it will make you out of the crowd, and it will give you an advantage of monetary and non-monetary as well at your workplace, because Power Pivot is available since 2010 and in Excel versions. And in 2021 we have Excel to 2019. So Power Pivot is available in Excel 2013, 16, and 19 in all of the versions. And Power Query is also available since 2013 Excel version. So Power Query is basically an ETL tool, which help us to transform the data without any hard-coded programming or without using the functions and formulas. So those of you who are using, who have an idea. And for the Power Pivot, we have a new language which is called DAX, Data Analysis Expressions. And this is where most of the peoples are lacking in the industry. They don't know how to use a DAX or how to manipulate or how to combine certain DAX into one to solve their problem. So I guess uh, those of you who are using, who have literally an idea that the DAX language is very important to do the advanced analytics, and not in just in Excel as well as in Power BI. So if you have heard about some analytics like clustering, regression, anomaly detection, or market basket analysis, so all these advanced analytics in Power BI, we need to perform DAX, right? All right. So let's understand the components of Microsoft Power BI application. So first, definitely the Power BI desktop version is available free of cost. So you can download that from the internet. And in this specific webinar, we are only talking about the Power BI desktop version, whereas we have also cloud version available. Most of the organizations are using the cloud version where they try to deploy the infrastructure on premises and make a gateway to the cloud, where they use the SharePoint to give the access to the employees of that organization. Okay, so we are only talking about the desktop version, not on the report server. But if any one of you want to have starting learning about the report server, I will guide you at the end of the webinar. So the first step is to clean the data. Okay, so for cleaning, consolidating, or for appending the data set, or for making some automations regarding the data transformation, you have to use the Power Query. Okay, then after cleaning the data, you need to analyze that. And for analysis, as I told you that in Excel, we use Power Pivot, but the Power Pivot is definitely integrated in the Power BI as well. So in Power BI, you have to use DAX. So it's very similar to the Excel function. So if you are a user of Excel, you know that if you need to look up something, you can use VLOOKUP or index match. If you want to uh, define a logical test, so then you use the if function. If you want to manipulate something, so you use text functions in Excel. Similarly, you have a language in Power BI which is called DAX, and you need to learn DAX for doing the analysis in Microsoft Power BI. And after analysis, the last part is the visualize, where you have a white screen, which is called the reporting view or the canvas, where you draw some different visualizations depending on best fit according to the data set. And you start drawing some column charts or line charts or custom visuals from the app source. So it is divided into three steps. First, you need to clean the data, where 70 to 80% of your time will consume to have a quality data, because most of the times when you get the data is not clean. And you also want to automate the data. You want to combine all the data from different Excel workbooks, or you sometimes you are getting the data directly connecting an API through an ERP software or getting through an SQL. So it's depend that how your organization is giving you a permission. Most of the times I have seen on different clients that they put their Excel files or CSV files or notepad files on their local machines. And some of the organizations are also using Azure or the SAP or Oracle, where they have connectivity through the SQL to fetch the data. So it depends that depend on the organization culture and the rights, that how you possess and how you connect the data source. And once you connect with the data source, you need to also consider that how much big is your data. If your data is too much big, definitely you won't be preferring to make a very large desktop files instead of going to the cloud. Okay, so that's a later part, but this is how this application is divided into three parts. First, you need to clean the data, where most of the time will consume here, and then you need to analyze the data. This is most important significant part. And yes, the Power BI and in next coming years, I can clearly see that all those users who know the DAX will have a more value as compared to the traditional Excel what we are using currently. Okay. All right. So definitely it's a perception that from a boss perspective and from an employee perspective. So the one who is working on Power BI already, they know that they have to learn different kind of skills before creating some dashboards or analytics or charts. So you see some good attractive dashboards, some good colorful dashboards, but behind that, the story is entirely different. You need to learn data cleaning. You need to learn about the relationships, how many kind of relationships are there. You need to learn the types of schemas. Either you will go with the fact tables, or you will go with the dimension tables, creating some star schema, or you will be creating some snowflake schema. So you need to have a grip on data modeling. You need to have a grip on DAX language, Power Query, data shaping, business logics. And once you have all those things readily, you have learned all those things, you can easily create some dashboards. If you don't learn that in this particular picture, if you don't focus on what you need to learn, so you will not be able to create some advanced level dashboards. For the advanced level dashboard, you have to cover this iceberg below area. Okay. Now, the Power BI application has four pillars. As I told you that first, you need to identify the connecting data source. Either it's on your local machine, either it's on your cloud, or you are using the on-premises gateways through Power BI reporting server. It depends. Then you use Power Query, which is available in the Power BI. I will show you when we will be creating one financial analytics dashboard today. Then you basically shape a model, because if you don't shape a model, and if you just have one entire table or only one Excel file which contains millions of rows, it will increase the data granularity and it will slow down your dashboards as well. Okay. So on that particular way, we prefer to create a star schema where we have two kind of tables, the dimension tables and a fact tables. Okay. Then after shaping the data model, you do some analytics using the explicit measures by putting some DAX in that, and you create some Power BI reports. And after that, you use the Power BI service, the cloud account. And the cloud accounts, we have three different kind of cloud accounts. The first one is the free account, where anyone can sign up from the Microsoft website. I will show it to you. But that would be sign up from your official work email address. You can't sign up from your Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo ID. That's not recommended. And the cloud account is definitely free but has some limited features. But if you want to have some project level security or incremental refresh or any other thing, you have to go either for a pro account or the premium account. So they have some license fees as well. So it depends upon your usage. So as I told you that 80% of the development process time will consume in connecting the data sources. So as you can see in this picture, either you find some flat files or your databases, or you might be connecting with an online cloud technology, and then the data will be go into the Power Query, which is an ETL tool, and then you will shape that data after cleaning that using some tables, relationships, and DAX engine. And then you have a choice either to create a dashboard in Excel or to shift that dashboard into the Power BI. All right, this is one of the very important aspect here, that whenever we start creating dashboards, and most of the organizations starting comparing this application with other business intelligence applications. Some, like if I am using Power BI, so I will try to search about other BI applications, that is Tableau or ClickView or ClickSense, right? So there is a very common question that what is the best fit business intelligence application organization can adopt? So my answer is that it's depend on the contingency approach. Whatever the best for you. If you are creating a dashboard sketch, and if you find all those features which you have created on a sketch paper, if they all features are available in Power BI, and it solves your business problem as well. Because the motive is not just to create a dashboard, because you have a problem first. Why you are using this business intelligence application is not just business problem first. So if you have any kind of business problem depending upon the historical data and you want to predict something, so then you start creating dashboards for decision making and storytelling. And after identifying the problem, you search about the features which are available in that particular application. So if the Power BI is fulfilling that purpose, so the organization adopts Power BI. If Tableau is satisfying the customer or the client, then that organization will adopt Tableau, not the Power BI. But still, for the last couple of years, you can we can say that uh, with the reference of Gartner research report, Power BI is one of the top leading application of Power BI in the industry, and then Tableau and Click. Okay, so my suggestion is to you, to all the attendees, is that so for those who are connected live with us today, is that first you identify the problem of your business and then you start creating dashboard, because if there is no problem, then what is the purpose of creating a dashboard? And another point which I want to add is that some of the users who just want to create a replica of Excel into the Power BI, they always say to me that whatever we are doing in Excel, we want that exactly in the Power BI. Now when I ask what is the motive, what it will do for you in a longer run, so they have no answer. So Microsoft Power BI is not a replica application or a substitute to the Excel. Excel has a different purpose and Power BI has a different purpose. Power BI can integrate Python, R, artificial intelligence, and it is a part of an ecosystem of Power Platform. Excel is a different part. So most of the times the client wants whatever we are doing in Excel, just make a replica exactly same in the BI. You can create a replica of 80%, 90%, but this is a business intelligence application which is given by the Microsoft to solve the business problems, not to just create a colorful dashboards. Okay. So make sure that you have a mindset and a perspective that you are solving a business case study in order by creating a dashboard. So it could be a financial dashboard, it could be an HR payroll dashboard, it could be a sales performance dashboard, it could be anything which is solving the business problem. This is the most important slide. Definitely, I have seen a lot of users on LinkedIn, Facebook, and in organizations. They try to create some good dashboards by just watching the free content always from the YouTube or from the other sources, but they don't find a specific pathway or the destination to be follow. And this is one of the slide which will guide you that what are those designing rules to create a good dashboard. So these are 15 rules you need to consider when you create a dashboard. You need to align all the objects, you need to format your numbers, you need to show some real time context, highlight the most relevant information, pick the right charts, choose the right colors. And most of the times when it comes to the financial dashboards, people try to create reports. Now, Power BI is not for creating reports. You can just push any kind of data in Power BI, that's acceptable. But what they are doing is they are just creating Excel reports in the Power BI. No, no, that's not the purpose. You need to understand the purpose. The purpose of Power BI is to have a business intelligence by helping the dashboards to tell you some story, and then you take some decisions. So for that, you need to definitely follow some rules, right? In order to create a storytelling dashboard or a financial analytics dashboards. Okay. So most of the times what accounting and finance professionals do a big mistake is that they just try to create reports, not the dashboards. And there is a significant difference between these two words. So these are 15 designing rules. These are very easy, but most of the times the users of Power BI forget to follow the rules. So that's why I have included that you need to understand all of them. All right, so this is the basically Power BI end-to-end top features, key integration points, and related services. So as I told you that Power BI is fully by the Microsoft, and this is the entire end-to-end top features where there are four main categories. So on the left side, you can see the data sources. So according to the organization, they have their own preference. Either they can start with an Excel workbook. So you can see on left bottom, there is an Excel icon there, right? So they might be getting their all the data from IT, and they are storing the data on local machines, and they are creating some folders and subfolders, and they're just putting the Excel files there. Some of the organizations, what they do, they just try to create databases through SQL or Azure, or more advanced, they use the cloud services, right? So it depends that what is your actual data source, right? Then you come to the content authority. So you start using the Power BI desktop version, which is definitely available. Desktop version is free of cost, but in some of the organizations, they use report server as well. Now there are some external tools are also available which help the community users to, when there are a lot of data, when there are a lot of explicit measures. So third party tools comes very helpful, just like DAX Studio, Tabular Editor, ALM Toolkit. So these are all available as well, free of cost. You can download that as well, right? Then it comes to the content delivering, collaboration, and sharing. So it depends that how your organization IT department will engage with the business, and they think about the productivity, they think about the scalability, the data discovery and governance, compliance and audit issues, and then they try to integrate the Power BI. And also we know that now the Power BI dashboards can be used in Microsoft Teams as well. And Power Automate is also now available with the Power BI, where you can automate your regular task, and it's a fully automate integration. And then the last part on the right side is the system administration. So most of the organizations using their Microsoft 365 cloud account, where they connect all the applications to the cloud. So they don't put anything on their local machines either. They have connected all the Microsoft applications on the cloud. So this is an entire map, or you can say end to end features. And one person cannot be the champion of all these sections. So this means that there are entirely teams who are working on these different kind of applications, and they make an ecosystem. But as a part of this webinar, what we are trying to do is we are focusing on the Power BI, which is content authority, and we will try to bring the data from a website in today's webinar. And I will also show you one case study in the Excel workbook as well. But I hope that you understand that it's not a game of one person, one single person. It's definitely we have different kind of talented subject matter people who will work in a team, and they will use this to make some automations and dashboards for the organization. All right, so in today's webinar we will be creating this particular Microsoft income statement of the last 5 years, and I will show you some of the features. Definitely this is a short webinar, so I will cover this dashboard, and also I will show you the data from the data modeling perspective. I will show you this particular dashboard data set as well, so that as a finance and accounting professional you can analyze that how should be data look like in the Power BI. Okay. Okay, so before we start, definitely, as I told you, that there are some factors to consider when selecting the tool. So the first important thing is that either this application is fulfilling your business objectives or not. Either this application is solving your business problem or not. Okay. Then interface and visualization. As you know that Microsoft always comes with a very easy graphical user interface. So Microsoft applications are very easy to learn as compared to the other products, right? So every time Microsoft comes with easy GUI, and the GUI of Power BI is similar like Microsoft Office products. If you are using Excel, Word, or PowerPoint, so you will find all the tabs and ribbons, a similar kind of interface there as well. Okay. So we can do advanced analytics as well. Integration with different applications, multiple sources of data are possible to connect to create a data warehouse. Customization is also available if you want to connect with the application, so you can create a custom connector as well by using the JavaScript. So on the back end, you can create an API, and then you can connect with that application. You can also create some custom visuals as well. So now in this month, April 2021, the Charticular is being added into the app store. So you can create your own custom visuals as well. So the customization is also available. From the security point of view, definitely, as I told you, that organizations prefer either on-premises report server, or some of the organizations prefer desktop and their cloud accounts integrated with that. So with the data analysis perspective, definitely we are talking about the business intelligence application. So the first perception about the data analysis process comes in, and what are those important factors to consider before we create a dashboard is understanding the problem and desired result. Because most of the time people are lacking in that. They are not focused on the problem. If you are creating a solution on a solution, it's not a good dashboard. If there is already a solution in Excel and you are just replica on in the Power BI, if you have already a solution and you are creating another solution, so definitely you are not doing some data analysis or business intelligence. So the first thing is that you are having a problem, right? So what is the objective of the dashboard? What you are trying to uh, identify the problem, and what you are trying to getting the desired result. What is your purpose basically? So this is the first part where we adopt the business intelligence application. Then setting a clear metric. What you are going to measure. If you are creating a sales analytics dashboard, so what will be those KPIs you will be focusing on? If you are creating a finance dashboard, so what will be those important measures or a KPI you want to show in the dashboards? So you will set a clear metric for that. Okay. And what you are going to measure and how you are going to measure, that's very important. Then you will gather the data. What kind of information do you need? And the information is not coming from the one channel, they are coming from the multiple sources. And we can see that now organizations have the internal data as well and external data as well. So data is coming from the social media as well, from for the organizations to capture more customers or clients. So there is, we are not talking about the internal data, we have also the external data, and we need to do some analytics. So it's very important that how we will be gathering that information, and where we are going to start from, and what would be going to obtain from that. That's very important. Then after connecting with the data, as I told you, we need to fix the data quality. When you are doing artificial intelligence visualizations in the Power BI, your data should be clean. So this means that you have transformed your data into the Power Query. So data quality is very important. Then after that, the fifth step is to analyze and mining the data. So you extract, you analyze, you identify, you try to correlate the data with different time periods. And the sixth one is that you interpret your results and present your findings in front of the senior management of the board of directors. That what you are trying to create, to communicate and present your results, that how you find that problem and the desired result. Okay. Now there are three major different types of data. There could be more, but there are three major different types of data: structured data, semi-structured data, and unstructured data. So let's talk about the structured data. You have the columns, you have the columns in that, and you know that they are cleaned up. All the columns have proper data types, and you are ready to go with that. So this is structured data. Sometimes you have the semi-structured data. Organizations lacks with a fixed or rigid schemas. So this is not stored in a form of rows or columns. So this is a kind of a semi-structured data. And then we have the unstructured data. The data is coming from different sources as well. The data is coming from web pages, from audio, video files, from media logs, social media feeds, PDF files, PowerPoint presentations. So there could be any format, sequence, or semantics or rules for the unstructured data, right? So as I told you that there are two different sources. The organizations now don't just have internal sources, but now the external sources as well. So you have the relational databases, such as you connect through the SQL server, you are getting all that data from SQL Server or Oracle, MySQL, IBM DB2, or any other thing. And then you have the external sources like publicly information available on social media or some statements as well, right? So data cleaning is very important, and there are some of the factors you need to consider when you clean the data. And what are those factors? Sometimes you have got missing values. So you need to understand as a data analyst. As a data analyst, you need to understand that how you overcome this missing values data. What kind of approach you will apply. Okay. Then there could be a case of duplicate data. Sometimes you don't want a duplicate data and you want to remove that. There could be a possibility. The another problem in the data cleaning is data type conversions in the format. Sometimes we don't get a proper kind of date formats, and we need to transform that date formats or a number formats as well. Then there could be a syntax error as well. In the data sets, data might be missing or any other different data type is available. Irrelevant data, the data which is not needed for the dashboard, sometimes you bring all that data. Or the outliers. So you need to consider that outliers are necessary to input in the data, or you need to exclude that. So these are different kind of scenarios you will find when you start cleaning the data in Power BI through Power Query. But you need to make a strategy or approach to make your data quality more improved. Okay. Now there are different kind of analytics we can do in business intelligence system. So in business intelligence, what it does is the user give the historical data, and on those based historical data, on the past trends, we try to create to do the descriptive analytics. Okay, then we have another kind of analytics which is diagnostic analytics, which we can go deeper to find the cause of the outcome. Predictive analytics, where we give the historical data and we try to also input some of the assumptions as well, and we try to predict future outcomes. So in this scenario, we can use machine learning models directly into the Power BI by using some open source products as well, such as PyCarrot. So you can use that as well. And also there is another analytics which is called prescriptive analytics. So this is used to analyze the environment to make decisions. There could be many different types of analytics, but definitely you need to identify first the problem, and then you need to apply the relevant analytics in that particular scenario according to your financial database. All right, so why we are here in today's webinar is that we are trying to bring a change. So we don't want traditional reports of black and white color or formatted reports. So as if you have work in finance department, or you have performed some statutory reports for the auditors as well. So as you know that we try to create some black and white kind of reports, right? So we have the descriptions or the line items on the left side, and then we have the actual budget variance analysis. So I still remember that I started my career as a banker back in 2008 2009. Last I mean 11 years ago, 10 years ago, we used to create these kind of reports, and we call that MIS reports for the internal purpose. So now the trend has been entirely changed in the last 10 years. We want these kind of storytelling dashboards, so that our senior management could take decisions very easily, because we can't take decisions here. It's very time consuming and very much effort to create these kind of reports. Either we can extract these kind of reports from an ERP such as Oracle or SAP, but this is the new trend which the organizations are adopting slowly and gradually, right? So this kind of reports are very necessary. Yes, for one perspective, we I can accept that we can create these kind of things in Excel as well. But when it comes to the Power BI, it is very much automated. It is very much less time consuming, and we have more artificial intelligence and machine learning and business intelligence factors available, which is not available in Excel. Okay, so for the advanced analytics, we can go ahead with the business intelligence software, whereas Excel is for just the average kind of analytics purpose. Okay, so now you can compare that what was happening uh, way back last 10 years before we have created these kind of reports, just a black and white reports, right? But now we are shifting towards these kind of new modern dashboards. I will take the questions at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions, you can write in the chat window. I will definitely try to answer as much as I can after the webinar when it ends. All right. So the new way of storytelling of financial reports, we need Microsoft Power BI or any other uh, business intelligence application. Now, these are some of the story driven dashboard examples, because the purpose is not just to create a colorful dashboard, but it also brings a story, a financial story to you. So these are some of the examples where I have also put a link. You can explore these dashboards after the webinar. So you can understand that how the industry is working on these decisions making. There are some of the COVID related dashboard as well, which definitely the community advanced users have created and they have shared on powerbi.microsoft.com. So if you want to learn about the storytelling, data visualization, data story, these are some of the quick references. You can follow them on Twitter, or you can just search them on Google, and you can add them on professional network, or you can buy their content as well. The first book which I want to recommend is that if you start learning that how to tell a story with a data, you can go ahead with this particular book. That will definitely give you an extra advantage in creating some good dashboards. So basically, we have the data, we create visuals, but now we also try to narrate that particular visual, that what it's actually speaking, right? So this is an entire ecosystem. This is the main purpose why we are creating dashboards. So to engage, to enlighten, and to explain that problem into a solution, and to bring a change in the reporting. Okay. So before coming to the learning sources, let's go to the Power BI application and let's try to do some hands-on there. And I will create one financial analytics dashboard where I will be getting a data from a website. Okay. So let me show it to you. Just give me a few seconds and I will change my screen. All right. So let me also copy this link as well in the chat window so that you can also follow. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible of my web browser, right? So this is the Microsoft income statement. Okay, the website is Macro Trends, and what we will be trying to do is we will fetch this data into the Power BI. So I will just copy this URL and I will go to my Power BI application. So here I am, and on the Home tab, I will click on Get Data, and from this common data sources, you will find an option called Web. Okay, so I will try to fetch the data from Web. And I will just paste that URL and I will press OK. So it will take few seconds to just read that data from the website, and after that we will be loading that data into the Power BI. Okay, so now it shows us a table one, and I will just check this table, just to select this table, and I will click on load to get this data from website into the Power BI. So in next few seconds, it will load the data. So let's wait for a few more seconds, and then we will start transforming this data into first Power Query, and then we will try to apply some visuals. So just few more seconds, and then we will have the data. All right, so now we got the table one, and on the right side in the fields pane, you can see there are 7 columns, and they are not named correctly. So what we will do is we will go into the Power Query, and we will transform the data, and then we'll come back to the reporting view where we will create some visuals. So for going into the Power Query, on the home tab, you will find transform data. So when you click on transform data, a new window will open. That would be of Power Query editor, right? So now you got the preview of your data, and all the transformation which we will be doing here is basically will be recorded. So on the right side, you can see a query settings pane where you have the applied steps. So whatever the transformation which I will be doing with respect to the columns, each of the step will record here. Okay. For the advanced users, those of you who have already using the Power Query in Excel or Power BI, they might know that there is also a language for the Power Query as well. When you have some very much advanced level of customization with related to the transformation of data, you have to learn the language code, and when your business issues are very common, that all those built-in features can do that very easily for you just with some clicks. So but if you have some very odd kind of a query, so you need to write the M language code. All right, so let's do some customization with related to this data. So I need to exclude some of the rows because it does not have any kind of numbers, and it is just producing as a blank. So what I will do is I will exclude the other operating income and expenses, other income, then income from discontinued operations. We don't need that. Right now you can see that all the numbers are on the left side, and the property of this column data type is the text, because how we have recognized is that on each of the column top header left side you will find a small icon of ABC. So when you click on that, a contextual menu will open where you can just change the data type of that specific column. So what we need to do is we need to transform this particular text column into the whole number. So I will click on whole number, and that is easily being transformed, right? Okay, now I will rename the headers. So I will just double click the heading and start writing the relevant name for that so that I can use later on in my reporting view for the visuals. So I will write here description. Then the first column is 2020. Then we have 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, right? So we are done with the transformation. I will just rename this table one as an income statement or any other name you would like to give. And I will also make a copy of this table as well because I also need to create some column charts. So I need a tabular data. I hope that every one of you aware about difference between a tabular data or non-tabular data. If you are not aware about what is the difference between a tabular data or non-tabular data, I will provide you a link in the chat window so that you can easily read that article and have an understanding on that. So for that, I will just copy this table and I will right click and paste this new table. And let's say this is income statement 2, where I will be doing an unpivoting of all the columns so that I can have a tabular data so that my column charts could be easily created. So I have selected all these 5 years and I will go to the transform where I will click on unpivot columns. And now I can rename the header this as years and this as values, right? All right. So once we are done with all the transformation, you can see that on the right side, uh, all the steps have been recorded. And if you know about the M language, which I told you that Power Query understand the M language. So if you want to do some customization in the program, so for that you can just go to the home tab and click on advanced editor. So when you click on advanced editor, you will find a code. Whatever I have performed with the help of clicks, you can see the language here, right? So as a business user, most of the business users are not the programmers. Data transformation will be solved very easily with just clicks. But you have some understanding regarding the M language as well. Now, once we are done with the transformation of data, I will just close and apply, and it will give me that again that view of Power BI. So let's wait for a few seconds. All right, so now you can see on the right side in the fields pane, we have two tables, right? One is with the income statement and another with the income statement too. And once we have cleaned the data, we will start creating some visuals here. So let's get start. So I will insert image or a logo. So I will just click on insert button and I will try to bring the Microsoft logo. And let me resize that, right? Okay, so whatever the visual you want to create in the Power BI, you have to just click. For example, I need a table so that I can compare year by year line items. So I will just click on this table where we have a blank visual here on my this canvas. So let me just resize that. And I will just drag the description and then the values right? 2020, 2019, and let me just increase the value size as well. So you can just click on this format icon, and here from this menu you can just expand the values category and increase the text size. So let's say if I could make it to 18, right? And also for the column headers, you will expand the column headers category, and then you will go to the text size, where you can just define the number. All right. Now see, there is one issue with this income statement, and I want your feedback in the chat window. If I go to the website again, and we know that the profit and loss statement or income statement, there is a specific format for that. First, every time we start with a revenue, then we will have cost of goods sold, then gross profit, then we have some operating income and expenses, and we deduct some taxes, right? So this is a defined format. In Power BI, now here the first line is not starting from the revenue or cost of goods sold, it's starting from the alphabetical order, like B, C, E, G, I, right? But what we need a chronological order, not the alphabetical order from A to Z or Z to A. We need a chronological order, or the order of our own choice, right? Because whenever we try to bring the financial data, either it's related to the income statement, balance sheet, or cash flow statement, we want that line items with our own priority, not with the uh, alphabetical order, but with the chronological order, right? So any one of how we will correct this particular issue in Power BI. So for those of you are using the Power BI, I guess they can answer. But for those of you who do not know, I will tell you the solution in just a while. So let me know that how we can resolve this issue. Okay, Bharat Mehta is telling that we need to create helper table. Very good. So we can say that helper table is a dimension table. Okay. So the correct term would be the dimension table. We can add the dimension table to that. Even in in this particular table, we can add a serial number column, and on the back end, we can assign each line item a number, so that the sequence can be in a chronological order, right? So any one of you who can still want to contribute, you can write in the chat window. I'm just waiting for your answers. If you know the answer, do write it. If you don't know the answer, write no, so that I can proceed further. Okay, so most of you don't know that how to correct this specific issue, right? So let's learn that how to correct this issue, because once you learn this, you will be able to correct this in your real-time data sets. Okay, so let's learn how to do it. All right. So for those of you who know it already, that's a good thing. Majority of you don't know, so let me show you how to correct that. So what we are trying to do is dimension table. Okay. So I have already prepared that dimension table, and I will go to the get data from Excel. And here I have an Excel file which is called descript dimension. Okay, so we have a table in this workbook. So what I will do, I will just click on load. Okay, so now we have that particular table as well. So we will go to the data view, and here we can preview this table. Remember that you cannot do any kind of a changing. You can do some transformation, but the change here cannot be accepted because it not like an Excel file where you can go to any cell and do some changes. It's a Power BI, so you can transform that. Now what I will do is I have created two columns here: description number and description, or you can say the line items or the titles of income statement. Now I have put revenue and assign a number 1, cost of goods sold 2, gross profit 3. And this is how the sequence will appear when I will put this particular description column in my visual. But before that, I need to complete one step. I can also create a serial number starting from like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, but it should be an incremental. You can start creating a serial number from a gap of 100 as well. It's your choice: 100, 200, 300, 400. But keeping it simple and easier, I have started giving a number for each of the line item with a proper sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay. So now what I need to do is I need to assign all these descriptive line items a number description column, and I will go to column by sort and I will just select description number. So what it will do, it will assign a number on a backend to each of the line item. Okay. And when I go back to my data model as well, you can see here there is a relationship also being automatically detected, and Power BI has automatically detected that this income statement is basically called a fact table where we have the real time data. So whenever we have a real time data in a table or a file, it's called the purposes, we can create some dimension table. So I will change the relationship this as 1 to many. So as I told you that as an advanced user of Power BI, you need to also understand that what kind of relationship will be formed in the data models as well. But because this is a short webinar, so we can't cover everything in much more detail. But definitely the floor is open to you after the webinar. I will share my contact details in order to explain you further. Now what I will do is let's correct this. So I will not getting the description from this income statement, whereas I will just drag the description column from the dimension table now because I have sorted that. So I will just drag and drop that column. All right. So now we have the revenue on top, then cost of goods sold, then gross profit, and then expenses and income and taxes. Now this is exactly the format which we were required from, which we have seen from the website as well. So now we can say that yes, our this particular issue has been sorted. Okay. Now there is another thing which I can do as well. For example, if I go to my fact table, and I can also add one column here for the numbering, but you have to think as a perspective of big data as well. So for example, at this point of time, we have some just one income statement, but whenever we have some management information system reports expanded by CRC or journal ledgers or sub ledgers, we have a long data sets, right? So whenever we try to create one extra column in that databases, it start increasing the file size. It also slow down our model as well, and that is not the best practice to follow. The best practice is that you can create a dimension tables, and you can just create a relationship between a fact table and a dimension table in order to speed up. Okay. So there was a one approach that I could still add one column here for the numbers and sort that column, but that was not the right approach in terms of dealing with the big data. Now, once I have corrected this issue, what I can do is I can just starting dragging and dropping the number of years which I want to see. Okay, now this is just a simple one table. There are all the formatting options available here. You can change the colors, you can change the background colors, you can change the font type, size. All these things are very, very basic. Okay, let's come to one more visual as well from the app source. We have more than now 250 plus custom visuals available. But to access the app source, you need to log in to your desktop version. For that, you need to sign up first for the cloud account, and the cloud account is absolutely free. So you can see here, I have already been signed in from my cloud account, which is dashboards.powerbi@excelbasement.org, which is my company email address. And then I can access the app source. If you don't access the app source, if you don't have the sign up of your cloud account and you don't sign in, so you just have the limited visualizations available here. But if you want to explore the marketplace, you need to create that account. Okay, so I will go to app source. Let's wait for a few seconds. It will load the screen. All right, now from here, we will try to bring one good visual, that is Zebra BI. And I have also created a separate video on Zebra BI as well. So I will add Zebra BI tables. So there are a lot of visuals available as in a perspective of accounting and finance professionals. So there are very awesome visuals available in the app source. So, but for the time being, I'm just adding one good visual from the app source, which is of Zebra BI. So I will click on this visual, Zebra BI tables. You can use this visual on a trial base for, I guess, 30 to 45 days. But after that, you need to purchase that visual, because most of the app source visuals are free, but some of the app source from the third party are the paid ones. Okay, on monthly subscription. So now I have the Zebra BI visual, and what I will do is I will try to drag the description into the category, and I will put 2020 in the values, and I will put 2019 in the previous year field. So it's very easy, just very smart. Just you need to drag and drop and put the relevant attributes in the relevant fields. Okay, and it automatically gives you a visualization about your income statement, or you can say P&L. So it's coming that revenue, gross profit, operating expenses, and it's showing some variances as well, right? But if you have the paid version, it will have some more advanced features available as well. Let's add one more visual on this dashboard, which is KPI. So let me drag that KPI. Now this is blank. What I will do is I want a description in this KPI, and I just want to see the revenue. So I will open this filters menu, and I will expand the description. And from here, I will say that just select the revenue. And now I will add 2020 and then 2019. Okay. So yeah, now you can see that the green number is the current year number 143,015, and the goal, which is the previous year number 125,843. You can format this particular visual as well. So we can go to the goals category, and instead of goal, we can say that this is previous year. And let me do some formatting for this as well. So let me increase the size to 18. And we can see the difference if we compare the current year versus previous year. So we can see the difference in the revenue amount as well as the difference is in percentage as well, right? We can also change the header. So if I go to the title and I can just rename it as revenue, and I can just make it center bigger in size, right? So now once you have created this visual, you can just copy this visual next to the blank area, and instead of revenue you can select another important line item from the profit and loss statement. It could be, for example, net profit. So I will go to the description, and instead of revenue I will search for net income, and then I will so this is the net income. So I hope that you are exploring that it's not very much difficult to use the interface. What is very important about the Power BI is to have your advanced level in data cleaning and learning about the DAX. Visuals are very easy to create, and this could be a possibility of 1 hour, 2 hour of time, and you can come up with some great visuals as well. Now let me show you the final layout of this particular dashboard as well. You can follow after the webinar, and here it is. So I have added 3 column charts as well, and I have just formatted the table as well here. You can see that this is the end result. So after 60 minutes or after 65, 70 minutes, I mean, this is the matter of just 60 minutes, 1 hour, you can present this kind of dashboards easily to your management. So in this particular dashboard, we have not applied a very much information at this point of time. But if you can see that if your data is being already cleaned up, so you can create visuals in very less time. Okay. So this is how you can explore different income statement from a website. The link is already with you. The best part is that you can fetch the balance sheet, cash flow statements, or key financial ratios, as well as there are different kind of formats available. You want annual, if you want quarterly, so you can just select that parameter, and then in the Power BI you can just select the option of getting data from the web. There are more than 200 data sources available. If you click on more, so you will find that now Power BI has many different APIs where they allow you to connect from the applications directly, rather putting your Excel files on your local machines. So I will take 10 to 15 minutes more. I hope this is acceptable for all the participants, just to show you one more good case study on financial dashboard, and also to show you some key learning resources as well. So you can see here, there are lots of data sources are now available from Azure, from SAP, from Power BI data sources, some social media platforms, QuickBooks, accounting softwares, right? So there are more than 200 connectors are available. If there is no connector available according to your ERP system, you can just create your own custom connector by using the JavaScript on the backend. Okay. So I hope I can have more 10 to 15 minutes so that I can deliver some very good information for you, and I can just cover one more case study related to the finance. Okay, thank you. All right. So there is one more dashboard which I would like to show you. This is another very good dashboard. Okay, I hope that this is visible to you. Now, this is from an expanded report. This is a income statement of different time periods, like period to date, PTD. Then we have budget columns are also there, variance columns. Then we have last year comparison columns, YTD, year to date as well. And that's a complete report of income statement, which generally extracted from the Oracle. Okay, from the ERP software. Now, let me first give you the backend story, that what is the data source looks like, and how we have transformed that particular raw data into a data storytelling dashboard. Okay, so I hope my Excel application is visible to all of you. Just to have a quick confirmation, write yes in the chat window if my Excel screen is visible to you. But before that, I need to explain that what is the actual story of behind this financial data. Okay, just give me a minute. All right, so let's say we have a data set of an ABC bank. Okay, and the software which we are using is called that Oracle ERP. Version could be anything. It's 11G or R12 or any other. Okay. Now, as you know that when we have the accounting software, the main component of accounting software, when the IT department starts integrating or applying that new enterprise resource planning software in the organization, they start with the chart of accounts. So definitely every accounting software has a chart of accounts, right? Now the chart of accounts contains all the journal ledgers and the sub ledgers, right? And also we define the various businesses, departments, and locations as well when we start recording the transactions. So as an accountant or as a finance professional, you understand the accounting. So what we do is we put a journal entry into the software, and it directly connects to the appropriate GL code or a sub ledger codes, and the PNL or balance sheet reflect the report on the Oracle or SAP, right? Well, if you are creating a financial model, do compare with that with an ERP. In the ERP, we don't need to link everything because IT has defined the data structures, and the schemas are connected with each other. They have just provided us a front end screen where we put some journal entries in form of JVs or any other thing, right? So we have a chart of accounts, and we try to put entries into that, and at the end of the day, for example, we are extracting the income statement from that system, but we need a database, not the end result. We are extracting the database, so we can say that we are extracting the expanded report based on CRC. Now what is CRC? CRC is basically cost revenue center, right? So for example, if every bank has a head office, right? So for example, if I'm working in a bank, so every bank has a head office. Even if you're not working in a bank, so definitely every business has a head office. And then we have some branches. So head office is always generates a cost. Head office generates a cost, whereas branches generates a revenue, right? So all the administration staff, all the chartered accountants, all the staff related to the compliance, sales, marketing, administration sits in the head office, and they are the cost center. Whereas the branches are the revenue, because they have all the consumer products, they have all the deposits and advances, and the cash as well, cash on hand and other things as well. So cost revenue center consists of location, business, and department codes, because we need to reflect that if you are putting any journal entry into the uh, accounting software based on a chart of accounts, so we need to also define that which kind of entry pertains to specific location, business, and department. So for example, if I am working in finance department and I am located at head office, so I can use a CRC. For example, first I will define the location in my journal entry. head office, finance, and the department code, for example, 85. Now, taxation is also a part of finance. So we have defined another CRC so that we can define a taxation as a separate part in a separate CRC. So we have defined that HOFIN 075 for the taxation. Similarly, we have defined HOFIN 065 for SBP reporting, State Bank of Pakistan reporting, right? So what we are trying to do is we are trying to fetch the income statement from an ERP software, and this is what the data is look like. We have that each of the line item here, and that is expanded by the company SL codes and the businesses. And we have some different time period columns are as well. We have period to date September, we have period to date October, budget column, variance column, year to date columns, then we have the last year and this year as well. Now these all amounts are rupees in millions already. The negative are also in bracket, the positive ones are in a normal format, right? And what we have added through looking up is that we have the description, which is the basically line items of the P&L, where we have the expenses and incomes from various line items. And we have classified into the main classes like expenses category, income category, NRFF, net revenue from funds, profit after tax, profit before tax, provisions, and tax. So these are the main categories. Further, we have classified these main categories into the subcategories as well. And then they are classified into the businesses. So we have agriculture, we have corporate banking, we have finance, we have consumer, we have treasury department, we have the other special asset management department as well, and they are also classified into groups. So we have a lot of fields available from which we can visualize and tell a story in our dashboards from a different perspective. So this is one of the practical dashboard, practical data set which you will find very less, but the softwares, the ERP applications fetches this kind of expanded reports. And what we need to do is we need to transform this black and white report to a meaningful report to present to the senior management. So the senior management is not basically uh, interested in this kind of black and white report, right? They are more interested towards these kind of dashboards. So I have created this particular dashboard in less than 60 minutes. This is very easy, but we need to understand from a data modeling perspective as well, because this data is not basically a tabular data. This is a kind of a semi-report where each of the time period contains a separate column. Whereas those of the participants who understand that what kind of a tabular data set and non-tabular data set, they will easily distinguish. Still, we have the limitations. And one more thing is that there is no dimension table. There is only one fact table. And this is just a report of 1 month, which has more than 15,000 of rows, right? So consider that if we extract the database from a system for last 5 years, so it will contain the millions of records, because it's a bank with a 1400 branches, and the data is coming as an huge into the Power BI. So we need to think on that perspective as well, right? So in that kind, to minimize the data granularity, we have to also create some dimension tables. But because the data is limited, we have just one set of data, we have just one fact table, and we just created a dashboard in just 60 minutes. Might be possible that every organization does not have this kind of similar data, but most of the organizations in Pakistan has this kind of a financial data sets available with their systems. But every bank, every industry has a different kind of approach. Their IT department set some of the rules that how the data will fetch through the system, and how the finance people will analyze the data into the business intelligence application. So that is why to understand the data modeling is very important rather than jumping to the visuals. Okay, because creating these visuals are very easy. You just need to click on the visuals and just select the relevant fields from this particular menu. Okay, so I hope you understand the logic here. Now let's come to the actual part where I want to show you. Yes, this part, learning resources, because most of you have not used the Power BI. So the first learning resource is that you can visit Microsoft Learn website, where a lot of content has already been created already by the Microsoft, and it's a good platform to discover yourself. And if you want to become and to get a certification as well, so you can have your pathway available, you can explore that. Anytime you can go to my YouTube channel, that is Excel Basement, and do subscribe that channel. I hope that after the webinar you will subscribe that my channel. And there are more than now 80 plus videos on Power BI available, so you can start exploring that further. If you want to explore some more advanced, and you want to follow some more industry leaders, so you can start subscribing these channels, the guy in a cube, Avi Singh, Kurbal, one of my favorite channel, Enterprise DNA, for Power Query, Excel on Fire, Excel Exciting. If you don't have any idea about the data modeling, you can start with this free course from sqlbi.com. This is very good course for the starters. If you don't know about anything about the DAX, you can start with this free course, Ultimate Beginner's Guide to DAX, which is provided by the Enterprise DNA. This is very good course for the beginners, self-learning course, and very easy to follow. You can also follow my blog as well, which is the excelbasement.org/blog. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are available on Facebook, you can follow our page for the weekly updates. We are also available on the Instagram as well. Uh, last last year in 2019, my two articles were published in the Institutes of Banker Pakistan journal, that is the quarterly journal. So I have written two articles regarding business intelligence in banking sector. So I have provided you the link. You can just go through this link and download the PDF file, and you can read more about that, why the analytics using Power BI is more important now. Because Excel is not obsoleting. Excel will remain forever. Excel will remain for a longer part, but Power BI is for a different purpose. These are all the contact details available. We are on all the leading social media platforms. We have a presence: LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We have a website as well. You can contact us from this email, so make sure that you note this. And as Abdul Shakur has already told you about the upcoming batch, if you are interested, and if you want to join and learn something great, something awesome, and which is already in demand in the industry, so you can join this course as well. You can contact on this details as well, right?